without further ado,
Matt, knock it off.
Can we bring in our guest today, and I'll give him an introduction.
There he is.
Brian, how you doing?
Well, I want to thank you all right off the bat for making me feel comfortable because I wore yoga pants, right? The
Wait,
camera's
can we
got it right,
see?
right? That's why it's not Lululemon. I'm not gonna tell. But I wasn't sure how everyone, right? So a shameless plug.
I love it.
Mike.
I love it.
I wasn't sure
Brian?
everyone was going to
What are
dress, so if I
superpowers?
have to
Marty.
button up, I look a little like
I
a
have the
holy
same
man
thing
there, don't I?
going
But
on.
yeah, there you go. So, but yeah, not Lululemon, yoga pants.
If we
so
can get
thank you for making me
Lululemon
feel
to like
comfortable.
be an affiliate, that's
I'm
great.
right.
I'd love
There you go.
50% off. We could put a
That's it.
survival logo
That's
on
it.
it.
Awesome. Well, it's
Still
good
be
to see you.
$10,000.
Well,
Good to see you as well, sir.
We're happy to have you. We're thrilled to have you.
Thank you.
Brian has been
Thank
a guy that if you know anything about anything related to preparedness and survival, you've, I'm sure, heard and or seen Brian Brawdy before because he's been out in the space for a while. Brian, I was bragging about you a little earlier how you used to be in the Air Force and you were a A-10 engineer. And then you stayed in the aerospace for quite a while, but you also were in
Yes, give
criminal
Brian a big hello.
investigation, right? Criminal,
Yes, sir.
Criminal investigation for what, 20 years or so?
Well, you know, I wasn't smart enough to be an engineer, sir. I was one of the guys humping the flight line garden, right? Weapons specialist, doing all the rest of that. But a little bit more about you. I have to tell you, it's quite humbling to get a chance. Some of the people that I respect the most in the world, family members and dear friends, are Rangers. So it really is an honor to get to hang out with you. And it's kind of humbling in the same way because I'm busy getting ready to answer questions about preparedness and survival to a guy that's cornered the market throughout his career on being a badass. So I thank you for the opportunity. I know I'm going to be preaching to the choir, but thank you so much for having me.
Well, that's very,
I
very,
hate
very
when
nice
they just
of you.
feed
but,
your ego, Eric. Just saying.
But it is all true.
It is
I
true.
was a waitress aerobic instructor from New Jersey. Don't know
Very
if I'm a
nice.
little.
And right, still in combat, right? Waitress is a good gig.
I was like ducking out food fights and like
Right.
protecting the people from
right.
salmonella. I
Right.
mean, I was doing.
And those bus boys, right? You never can count on where their head's going to be in the game. You don't know, but it's very
All right,
nice to
Eric,
hang
well,
with
You
you.
know
thank you
what?
for your service. Both of you, thank you for your
Yeah. Thank you,
contribution
brother.
to
Thank you.
making the world a better place.
And Brian also has given back in so many ways because yoga pants. We're not going to. How about commando under the yoga pants?
Oh,
That's a
I
total
didn't know there was
topic
an
for me,
option.
but
See, there's a guy.
I'm not gonna. I'm gonna keep them
I didn't know
guessing.
there was an
So-
option.
Somebody might know the
Right?
answer.
Why wouldn't
All
you?
right.
They're yoga
Well,
pants.
Brian
I'm Irish.
is-
Where am I going?
Yeah, you're
We
an Irish
covered
goodbye.
Irish goodbye. Did you hear that yet?
Did you see that? Were you on the thread for that, Brian? We were talking about Irish goodbyes.
Oh, no.
Do you know what an Irish goodbye is?
Thankfully, I'm here to say I do not.
Johnny made it.
It means that you take a long time to say goodbye to a party. 5 beers later, you're like, I'm leaving, and
I'm
then
leaving,
it's
I'm
2
outta
hours
here.
later,
Yeah,
and you never go.
Yeah.
Hi,
And you-
Lori.
Well,
I like
so
that.
I want to get back to Brian a little bit.
No,
because
I want to. Absolutely.
Brian is also the creator of this idea called Mortal Up, and I love the handle. I think it's really cool because I've spoken a lot about how we have lost our way in raising warriors, and it's not just warriors that are male warriors. I mean,
Right?
female warriors. I'll stick to the two genders. Okay, male warriors and female.
Thank you.
warriors. I'm
Thank
not
you.
going to cover all the other in-between pronouns, etc. That's Becky's role, right? You're going to cover that.
Eric.
So anyway,
Eric,
but just
we have a
generally
guest
the
with us
mindset,
today.
and we have
a
so
guest.
many great folks in our Wolfpack community. Amanda's one of them, right? That have embraced this mindset that if it's to be, it's up to me. I'm going to take responsibility, and I'm going to have accountability for my family's safety, for their protection, for myself. And it really ties very closely into this whole notion of freedom too, as just a central value. And so you've written some books, you've spoken on this topic quite a bit. What is powering you? What is fueling you to tell such inspirational stories, I guess, or teachings about how we can change our mindset to be one that is more positive and contributing?
Well, thank you very much for that. I think when the concept of Mortal Up first came to me, It was with the concept of mortal up or be knocked down, right? That in order to be an alpha, and you can be an alpha male, you can be an alpha female, but in order to be an alpha, you have to be able to out-brutal the brutal come what may. And I've said for years, long before National Geographic, long before all the TV, long before all of that, I would say, look, do you have the ability to out-brutal the brutal? When you can't call on anyone else, can you call on yourself? When there's no one else coming, can you say, hey, send me? Can you put your family behind your back and go, we don't need anybody else. The heck with 911. Get behind me. We're going to be good. We'll get through this. Yeah. So the concept of mortal up grew out of that sense of be responsible, have some autonomy, and know that when the caca hits the fan, you're the guy or you're the girl that they can call on. There's no reason to be stress-ridden and anxiety-ridden and worried about the future, because whatever knocks, we're going to be able to answer it and go. I remember the movie with Burt Reynolds from Cannonball Run, right? What does that have to do with survival?
Oh my God, I love Cannonball Run.
Remember when Don DeLuise jumps in as Captain Chaos?
Eastbound and Bound, right?
Eastbound and Down. And Don DeLuise jumps in as Captain Chaos. Dun, dun, dun. And Burt Reynolds counts himself, Captain Chaos, 2 others. Then he counts the bikers in the bar and goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He pauses and goes, you guys better go home and get some more guys.
Yeah.
All preparedness comes down to that, sir, right, Becky? All preparedness comes down to no matter what the universe throws at you, you're going to go, is that all you brought? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm prepared. That's what I'm ready for. Mm-hmm. So that's the concept of mortal up. It's into you already. Just let it out, right?
I love it.
So I'm sorry for such a long answer, but that's it. Can you be the badass when your family is counting on you? And I would answer also that with 5 kids, I'm really worried about the future we're leaving them. Yep. I suspect that when we were younger, our parents were like, oh, we're going to try to make it so that the future's better for them than it was for us. And I have to tell you all, I'm really scared, right? I get credit for being this and that and all these other things, but I'm kind of scared about what their future's going to be like. And I'd rather have the brutal come now when it comes towards me than come toward my kids when I'm not able to defend them. Does that make sense?
100%.
I guess. Okay.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I got some questions because Brian's coming onto our platform without any if people have not seen him on Doomsday Prepping or in his truck or interviewed on some of our national news channels as the expert. Brian, can you just give us
I think Brian has more energy than Becky.
No, that's why I'm being quiet.
Sorry.
I'm trying to be. I just wanted to say I love that I'm more alpha than Eric. I'm the Luna Wolf. If you were here for that episode, I'm the white Luna Wolf dominant.
I do appreciate all these comments. They're
fascinating. We're trying to be good. We have a guest, so we're not going to exactly.
No, not at all. Interrupt.
No. That's disrespectful. We're a wolf pack. We respect. We got pride. We got authenticity. We got community. We got kick ass. Right, Eric? That's our pack values.
That's our pack values.
I memorized that.
That's awesome. Good for you.
You think
very nice?
I love it. I'm proud of you.
So Brian, can you give
I'm
us?
so proud of you.
Can you give us just some of my favorite wickets of you in your journey to expertise? And again, you don't mortal up and have a strong mental mind. An ability to handle situations on a whim without having years and years of experience of circumstances to give you that ability to practice that and then become an expert. One, in the way you stay calm under pressure. The military do that all the time, but also. Did you just go?
Huh? Not with me.
Okay.
Hey, Bobby.
So can you tell them the story of how you did a commercial for one of our favorite competitors, and give maybe a timeline on
Becky,
that?
what are you doing?
Because this is
Wait,
fascinating.
no.
How we're
Right. Well, we won't mention the name because I feel like that guy from Can You Hear Me Now? And then years later he goes, I don't work. He switches anymore, right? But here's the thing. You all didn't exist back then. So when I challenged everyone.
So that's fair. It's like having a first life that you never knew when
you
you were
never
there
know.
at the same time.
You never know, right? When I
Luna.
said, hey, you may not be a prepper now, but you will be.
I'm going to be,
right?
I'm an
for sure.
aspiring prepper.
Yeah, well, look, here's the thing about that. And
You're a prepper.
I get in trouble all the time because people go, oh, you're a prepper. And I ask, do you have automobile insurance? Oh, do you wear your seatbelt in the car? Well, yes. Do you have a deadbolt on your front door? Yes. Do you lock it at night? Well, of course I do. Then you're a prepper. Do you put, right? So all prepper means, and I know National Geographic and we had a big fight.
Oil from Chris.
Right.
I'm
You're prep. So everyone wants to make prepper weird and this and that and everything else. And it's really just, if you're thinking, in the future, could I run out of red wine if I'm throwing a party? Maybe I better order 2 cases. You're a prepper. That's all I'm saying.
I am so a prepper.
I'm so prepper. Another plug. There you go. Another plug.
prepping tequila.
Right? Prepping
best.
tequila.
It
Right?
is
As
a
one
way
would.
of life.
As
It's a
one
way of life.
It's a mindset. It is absolutely a way of life.
And
Yes,
it
sir.
is a self, like
Exactly.
it's an
Spare tire,
independence. It
man.
starts, if I look at my life, like I just want to, I always just had myself to rely on, right? So I was always just trying to cover my own butt, really, like in taking care of myself. So self-reliance to me, I think before the prepper mindset came to me, like independence, self-reliance, self-efficiency, contribution, and then now being exposed to this whole other, world of like, wow, self-sustainability where you don't even need the government or money or anything. You could live off your land is a total amazing mindset to even get a grasp of. So
Well, I would
got it.
ask
You
you,
got
do you
it.
have a rainy day fund? Do you set
I'm
aside
trying
some
to get
money?
a raise for that.
Right. See, I told you I'd mention your
Brian
raise.
Brawdy is with us. Brian Brawdy of Mortal Up. He is an expert in many things.
Yes, for those who just tuning in. So Brian, give us your trajectory of, I think one of the fascinating things about you in the research is like you lived out of this like truck camper van thing for a while, and that's kind of where they got you, and they brought you on Doomsday Prepper, right, in one of the episodes to show that. And so can you tell us a little bit why you even, like, I have no desire to do that, so how that even was like, yeah, this looks fun, and this is how it started your
Laura.
journey.
And you know what? It was all about being a prepper. When I built the truck camper, right?
What year was this?
Golly, so what's it been, like 12 or 13 years ago? I think.
Okay, so
memory escapes me how long ago I was in the New York
2020,
Times. Yes, long before the top fold of the New York Times, long before Green RV. And I will tell you, one of the things that you'll bump into is they wanted to make fun of preppers. They wanted to poke some holes in it.
I feel like I need my signs.
You know what I mean? So all I did was get the truck camper, build a truck, Ford F-350, decked it out with everything I could possibly think that I would need in an emergency situation, designed the wind turbines and the solar panels and the satellite dishes and everything. And then I took off for a year, and every Friday night, I survived out in the middle, well, some national parks, some state parks, but other times out in the middle of nowhere, because I just wanted to be able to test my skills and go, when there isn't any electricity, do I have solar panels? When it's dark out, do I have a wind turbine? Do I have the food? Do I have this and that? And that was the beginning journey, not unlike why I was buried in an avalanche for WGN-TV in Colorado to test, could I survive under all that snow? Or any
How
of the
long
other...
was that?
Golly, that was right before the Lance Camper. I was probably in there for...
There are easier ways to make a living than being buried under an avalanche to see if a life-saving is my chest going to collapse.
Right. I'm not that smart. I'm not that smart.
7 hours.
Right.
So how long was it?
Frostbite got me before my breathing did. No, I was probably, it's a morning show, so right? I was probably there through 2 or 3 commercial breaks. I had a Avalon. They had a little camera down inside. So you should use it, right? And I'm in this thing, and they pull me out, and I'm like, they got a rescued dog from the ski resort, and telling all this, and I'm like this.
One of these St. Bernards with a little bit of
exactly.
rum or whiskey.
Right. On the commercial break, I drank the
St.
whiskey.
Bernard's.
Whiskey,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, it was whiskey.
Like
It was
a bourbon
great.
or something, anything.
Yeah, I don't think St. Bernards carry around rum. It's got to be whiskey.
Yeah, it can't be
I'll
rum.
fact check that for you.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay. But I had it during the commercial break. So I have a history of going, I don't want anyone else to do it unless I've tried it myself. So I put myself out there to go, no, I've been there. I've done that. I've covered it. So if you have a negative critique, you're welcome, right? Shakespeare's Suffer the Slings and Arrows.
Barrels of brandy. It's brandy.
Oh,
Barrels of
that's
brandy
nice.
around their
That
neck.
makes sense because the French.
Avalanche
Let the
victims
French-
supposedly drink the brandy to stay warm while awaiting rescue, although this is
There you go.
medically unsound.
man, don't
But
drink
it
the
feels
brandy.
good.
It feels great going down, but your
if
body
if it
tends
didn't work,
to...
they wouldn't do it.
Right.
It's been tried and true. I mean,
It's on
know what they're
TV. It's
doing.
got to be real, right?
so
It's on
real.
TV. Sure.
We're on TV. We're real.
You
This is
are
fake
real.
TV. This is like in TV.
In TV. Very nice.
I don't know. We're in a
Thanks,
box
Becky.
in a box. I'm sorry.
Okay,
That's okay.
so
Not at
So
all.
profound. Okay, so from the TV. So then tell us how you got hooked up with being the expert to be featured in a national commercial for a competitive brand. Well,
Well,
I'm curious.
This could
be
just
me.
passion, right?
I could be
Here's the thing: when
Nigerian
people say
Civil-
all the time, "Oh, you're so good on camera. How do you do it?" And the only thing I can offer,
Space
and this
guns.
led to that led to all these television appearances, all the commercials, everything else is when people say, "You got to love Brian. He is the same way on camera as he is off camera."
Oh, no.
So when people, yeah, right, right now, you know, my wife
Oh
has
my
had it up
God.
to here with me.
Does
Can
your
you
wife
see
have
here?
multiple sweatpants?
You know, she has a good set of noise canceling headphones, right? She's like praying for early onset adult hearing loss. So the key to being great on TV is just be authentic, right? Just be authentic. And that's easy for everyone to do.
It is, yeah.
Just
Eric.
be you. And people dig that because they want to be themselves. And when you're authentic, I've had TV producers of late, just this last
impact.
month, call and say, "We don't care what he talks about, just get him on. We need his energy." Well, I'm insane, right? So I channel that when I'm on camera, and I'm very, very blessed. That seems to work well for me, right? I'm nuts,
That's awesome.
right? I'm out of my mind.
For anyone trying to go to Brian's website at mortalup.com, you have to use HTTPS. It is not working without that.
Interesting, Brian. That's a little tip for you.
And also,
thank you very much.
He also
You
has
should
an
be getting a lot more
Instagram as
traffic.
well, I
I'll
believe.
call Wayne. Yeah, right. It's-
Instagram Mortal Up also. So
Cool.
Well, thank you all very much.
So,
Thanks, buddy.
so what are you doing these days?
I'm doing a lot of writing. I do a lot of television appearances, but I'm kind of dialing back a little bit, sir, on those because I'm focusing on what I think is the storm on the horizon. And I don't want to get all doom and gloom, but I'm focusing on some of the recessions, some of the elections, some of the different, just the tone deaf nature of some politicians and situations. So I'm really just focusing on making sure that come what may, my family, my friends, my associates, my business partners are
Brian,
all
we're gonna
taken
have
care of.
a rumble match.
Yeah.
Did you see that last comment? Can you see the comment?
You are now the competition. Becky's
saying
competition because
that
you've got such
because-
energy.
Because Eric is so want that I make him look like he's standing still, but now your energy is matching and
me look
beating
like I'm standing
potentially my
still.
energy. So
I can
I'm
run my
just-
shoulders. I'll sit on my hands. Okay,
yeah.
I'll sit on my hands. That should help,
control.
right? That's going to help.
I gotta
Sure.
say.
Let this nut sit on his hands. That'll work.
Can you imagine
Yeah.
Becky? Can you imagine the offspring? We could have Olympic athletes.
I do
Olympic.
have on yoga pants.
No?
I'm just saying. Okay.
I have to say, okay,
What?
I think I may have to retire early today.
You need Brandy.
because
Eric needs
I can only-
Brandy right now.
I can only take about an hour of Becky before I'm like, is this over yet? Can we please,
Please.
stop the live stream so I can have my space back?
I think I'm actually toned down today. Maybe
Yeah,
because
you
Brian's
are.
here.
Definitely. He's giving you a run for
I
the
don't
money.
want. I want the light to shine bright like a diamond.
It
on
is,
Brian.
yeah.
Shine bright like
No,
a
that's just a
Brian.
reflection. Come on.
It is a reflection. I think this light, I think I would have done this differently.
No,
I
you
think it
are a
is-
diamond.
So Brian,
You're
when I spoke to
be
you
the
earlier this week because we were
I got the same
planning
thing.
something else, the Becky and Brian show. Tune in for that. We're going to definitely short circuit. Brian and I, if we had a channel, it would be like an EMP. It would just short circuit all of YouTube, and that would be the end of YouTube. So if we want to
See,
take out YouTube,
Becky,
Yeah, like
you know
verbal
what an EMP
Faraday
is.
cages.
I've come a long
Oh,
way here.
Faraday cages. We
Faraday
like those.
cages, sure. Yeah.
So, I think you're onto something here
I was going
because
to ask a prepper related question, but go ahead, Eric.
no, there are storms on the horizon, and again, we don't subscribe
You're
to
not wah-wah.
scare.
You're not
Thank
wah-wah.
you, Laura. We don't subscribe to scare people and motivate them to stock up or buy
Sure.
or whatever. But we embrace,
There's-
like you,
Thank you, B.
personal accountability.
Mm-hmm.
We embrace preparedness. We embrace
Mm-hmm.
self-reliance. We embrace, freedom. And the
Mm-hmm.
surest way to freedom is through preparedness. I mean, at a foundational level, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the surest way for freedom,
America.
America, right?
America.
we were talking about this last night. We have some folks over that are former Air Force as well, Air Force Academy folks, and we just got to talking about how, man, there's a health crisis, and the folks, and forgive me, but
Hi, Duncha.
but the one thing that just really torches me,
That looks like Lynette.
it does look
It
like
does.
that, yeah,
Lynette, zang anybody.
is when I go into a grocery store.
Duncha, you look like Lynette.
And there are folks that are running to the automatic little cars with the carts. What are those?
What?
Like
I don't-
wheelchairs, like motorized
but
wheelchairs.
they don't even need them. I mean, has the world gone to this where, if you're a perfectly able-bodied person, you've got to jump on that little, go-kart thing and scoot around the store?
No, I'm the person who just not because, and I know that this is a practical prepper tip, is to park far away from the parking lot, away from the doors, because then if there's some kind of thing that happens, you're the first one out, not stuck in a line. I do it to get my steps up. It's more
That's a great plan.
Yeah.
to get my steps up, but
Yep.
it works both to get out first and get my steps up. Not to
And I get in trouble, so let me
But
say
you might need the cart. Like I've had a back injury, like really bad, where I could have used that cart a day or two.
I don't know.
I don't know either. And I would say to you that not all, but a lot of the ailments that we're subject to would be cured if we were forced to park 100 yards from the front door of the pharmacy and actually walk in, right? You should say now, the views that Brian expresses are solely his and not attached to us in any way, right? I've made it like 20 minutes into it. But if they forced you to walk the football field to don't do a drive-up window to a pharmacy to get a medication that you wouldn't need if you had to walk into the pharmacy, right? Not carry the Big Mac.
I agree,
That's all I'm
Christine.
saying. And so I tend to agree.
Well, okay, I'm taking heat. Because
Eric's stirring up the fan mail again.
Disney said, who am I to judge? And it's true. Who am I to judge? However, how come handicapped people are the only ones that should and do park in handicap spots? Why do you get a ticket if you park in a handicap if you're not handicapped? Because you got to leave that for the people that are handicapped, that really, really need that spot. The same thing with those little scooters. Leave it for the people that need the scooter to get around. If you're a perfectly, able-bodied person and you can carry yourself on two legs and push a cart or carry a little basket, leave those little scooters for people that
I don't
can't.
think anybody is disagreeing with that at all.
I just said Disney was giving me heat, and I appreciate that. Disney, keep me
you
honest.
could have
Because I want to explain myself.
I could show you. I have a couple of long line of people in my family that I could show you that might need a cart that you wouldn't be able to physically see that. So I mean, again, maybe somebody just needs to.
But you're missing the point here, because if you're able to walk into the store,
Dig the hole deeper.
you're able to walk around the store. All right, that's all I'm saying.
Look, I'll spelunk.
Leave it for people.
I'll jump in the crevasse with you then. And you've been very gracious not to mention it, but I had, 5 brain surgeries in 2.5 years, just of late. And when I got out of all of it, right, when I got out of all the spinal taps, all the shunts in, the shunts out, all these other things, the doctor said, you want a handicap a sticker, decal for your rear view mirror? No. Well, why not? Because I can walk. Now, I may get there and forget who I am, right? The amnesia's been a challenge. But no, save the handicap stickers and the parking spaces for people that really need them. They go,
it's common sense. It's courtesy.
It is courtesy.
That's why they created it in the first place.
I think so.
That's why they let you retire when you're 65, because you've spent a hard life. You've done your duty.
65?
62.
I don't think I'm going to be able to retire till like I'm 165.
Who would want to retire? If I could, who would want to?
Yeah,
Find something you love and do it.
We don't get full retirement until 71, Becky. Eric, are you
I physically and financially cannot retire. It just I haven't.
we're
I didn't win the $1 billion.
Yeah, I think so.
And this is great. Like, we're getting a lot of flags thrown because of the technicalities of this.
Okay.
But I think we're speaking the truth.
Yes.
We're saying, look, let's respect folks that actually need the help, whether it's the spot closer to the door or it's the cart in the store. Okay.
And
Okay,
I
I'm
would
glad
say, so
we
let me
hit all
just
the
share some of
topics.
the flack. Just would it
Eric
kill
needs
you
a
to
PR
mortal up?
department.
HR says,
What-
do I
Can
have
you
an
bring
but
in
you need a
Carrie?
PR department.
Carrie is our HR department. Carrie,
groovy.
if you're watching, get in here.
Good,
Set it
good.
straight.
Yeah.
I'm just-
Save Brian
this
from
is-
himself. Mortal up.
this is
Mortal
common
up, for
sense,
goodness
man.
sakes. That's all. That's all.
love
Mortal
I
up.
love this saying. It's like I was a big fitness person, and I worked for myself. And every Sunday, I would put out the schedule of what I was teaching that week to my private clients, and I would always put a quote. And one of my favorite one was, "You can take 2 pills or 2 steps at a time. Your choice." Like,
Mortal up.
I like, and again, sometimes you need a little pill, so I take 5, but take.
Can I out myself for just a second? Can I out myself
You're right,
if I would?
Lisa.
I'm 62 years old now.
My man.
And people look at me and they go,
I got one out there. Maybe he's in the thread.
you can't be 62 and I take no medication. But I run every day.
Wow.
I do push-ups and sit-ups and blah, 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 blah. Who cares? But what I'm simply saying is the function of mortal up is that I could, as Becky said, take 2 pills or go ruck 20 miles. Now, for the people that opt to take pills, God love you. For me, I'd rather ruck. I'd rather do those things to mortal up because in an emergency situation, let me tell you, and this is what kills me about people.
Let me tell you.
All of it. Let me just say this so
That's like
that
a
I
Jersey
can
thing. Let me
draw
tell you.
the fire, right? Let me fall on the grenade. Do you think when it hits, and it will, stores are going to be worried about making sure the electric carts are powered?
Bless you, Jan.
Really? 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 So your sense is, oh, if it goes to hell in a handbasket, I'll still have my motorized scooter when I get over to wherever? No.
Bailey's.
So what would you do? Would you go hungry? Would you
Use it or
would you
lose it,
not
Randy,
be
I
able to
agree.
survive? So that's great. You say use it or lose it. I would say there's a mental atrophy. Just as deadly as a physical atrophy, right? Progressive adaptation. What say you can't use the cart? What say you have to walk? I remember in law enforcement, there were times where I'd ask partners to keep up. And if they didn't keep up, then I had to act a certain way when I caught the bad guy or the bad girl. Don't want to be sexist. When I caught the bad person. Right? If I didn't have a partner that could keep up, then
bad
that
pronoun.
was a bad pronoun. Oh, I have a bad pronoun. Right? So I would say mortal
Santa
up.
is now watching,
I
boys.
love the
Santa
pronoun
is
Good.
thing.
watching.
Santa
Cool
hasn't
for
come to me
you.
in years.
I love it. I love it.
Santa hasn't
Yeah.
come to my place in years.
You
Who we
know,
kidding?
somebody threw in the comments something about, and the comments are great. I love them. I mean, this is awesome, and this probably is a completely irrelevant
Is it?
topic, nothing to do with. But we're just speaking about being a good citizen. Back to
Yes.
that conversation, being a good citizen.
Do you have that handbook?
The guy, I do. We've covered that already, but the person, the person that
Good citizens eat meat.
the only thing probably let's see. The person that's parking in the reserve for pregnant mamas.
Do they actually have one of those?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
they're
never
all
seen
over
it.
the
I
place.
didn't. Why haven't I seen one out here?
They're
In the
all
West?
over.
There's one by Rayleigh's.
Yeah.
I think it
And
says
you're
expecting or whatever.
Expecting.
Yeah.
Expecting. Yeah, totally. I think that's really cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Hey, we respect that. You're.
We need
you're
a
going
good generation, the next generation.
It's great. It's great.
It's
yeah.
beautiful
It is a
that-
beautiful thing. So that's
But
cool.
we're
Babies
also
are
standing
beautiful.
up for them, if you don't mind me saying. We're also standing up for the people going, what happens if the cart is inoperable? What happens if there's a brownout or a blackout? What happens if you're relying on a crutch? And by crutch, I mean philosophically. You're relying on an implement, and that implement's removed. What are you going to do? Starve? So for me, it's not a function of berating anyone. I'm cheerleading for them to go, look, in a bad situation, what if the cart gets yanked out from underneath you? What are you going to do? You're going to mortal up. That's what you're going to do. How do we get from A to B? Here's what you can start doing right now. So I don't think we're being critical of everyone.
that's
We're
amazing.
actually taking a bullet for people that are like, oh, I have a fallback plan. Well, if you can't call on the maintenance guy to fix the electric scooter, wheelchair, whatever, you don't
Fred,
have a
love you,
fallback
Fred.
plan. You don't have a fallback plan. So that's just
Right on.
that.
Right
that's
on.
how I feel.
So can I tell what we actually brought Brian here to talk about?
Yeah. Red wine, if I remember Bobby saying.
It was red wine, tequila for your preps for either
Yes.
drinking,
Yes.
sterilizing, or bartering. This is what I've learned through my life as a fake prepper, but becoming a real prepper. But we brought I just play
Leave
one.
it to Johnny.
Well, yes, they can.
He's funny.
Yeah.
Funny guy.
Here's the thing, though. Make sure you get a tequila that you wouldn't barter for anything. Right? That's all I'm saying. If you're going to drink well tequila, barter away.
You guys
If
are
you're-
both. There are males that identify that are definitely pregnant
Are
males.
we
That's
gonna
what
you want to go there again?
No, I do not.
No.
I want to
Did
talk
you
about shelter.
All right.
Okay, shelter.
Brian, so I want for you to help educate our wolf pack community on something to do with shelter that they can do practical outside of mindset. We all agree that the best thing of being prepared is the way that you approach the situation, calm, with like open eyes.
That's the first thing, right, on the pyramid. You need safety.
Yeah,
And
so
shelter
Maslow's
Sure,
hierarchy.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Sure.
So go ahead, take that away. So what in the form of shelter, looking at it, whether you're outside or inside, what does that look like?
Well, you're absolutely right to say that all preparedness is there's an attitudinal preparedness and there's an architectural preparedness. There's a philosophical one and there's a physical one. But what I would say is when it comes to physical protection, you and I can go quite a while. We wouldn't want to, right? We could go quite a while without food, a little bit less time without water. But you don't want to expose yourself to the elements. So if you find yourself on a sunny day grabbing a baseball cap, you're working on cover, right? If you find yourself putting on a coat because of the wind, you're working on cover. So outside of the attitudinal stuff, there are things as simple as this. Why do I always wear a hat? Well, 1, all the surgeries. 2, I'm bald. 3, doctors tell us now that a good portion of the heat escapes your body from the top of your head. So you'll see me all the time running around in a pair of boxers, some boots, and a cap on. No shirt. Why is that? Because I'm working on shelter. Then as I start to move away from those things, you go, why do polar bears have a huge nose?
God,
you want to
made 'em that
breathe
way.
through your nose, right? Because when you breathe in through your lungs, you go, let's say it's 20 below zero. Your lungs go,
Okay.
what the heck is he
100%.
doing?
That's right.
Brian, I just finished a book called The Oxygen Advantage because part of my half of my life is I love all things fitness, but it talked about how if you inhale through your nose, right, the air is like 20 degrees. By the time it gets to your trachea, it's heated to 98 degrees.
Yep.
If
And
it comes through the
moistened.
nose from the
And
filtration.
moisten, my friend. Don't forget that
And
the
moistened.
mucus in your
And there's something
Yep.
nitric oxide.
Nitric
that
oxide, very
is
good.
the only thing that comes. It's not created through your mouth.
Yep.
It's only created when you inhale through your nose.
Well, we're not supposed to be breathing through our mouths, right? Can you imagine your lungs going, I dig 98.6, 20 below zero, you take a big, deep breath. And then people go,
this is
I was really
fascinating.
surprised the body shunted all my blood to my core, and then I got frostbite on my fingers and my toes. And you want to go, why weren't you breathing through your nose? Right? You go, well, how hard? You're making humanity look bad.
I think I
so
learned that.
when we talk about cover,
The Darwin
it's-
Award.
the Darwin Award, exactly. When we talk about cover,
Body
there's
in the
certain
back.
things you can do. If you're going to the Everglades, maybe you want some apparel that's got insect repellency worked in. For me, in terms of cover, maybe you want some clothing that helps block the sun.
Right.
That's just, it doesn't have to be extreme. And I know everyone that's, especially when the media wants to attack you, they want to make us preppers weird. Like I followed a guy on the National
We're doing
Geographic
quite well
thing.
on our own, thank you.
We're doing great. Thank you very much.
Good.
Well, this
We
guy
cover
was
all
like,
the topics.
was saving milk in like dragon eggs or something. And they were interviewing him about that. And I go, look, wear some sunblock. Why do you think football players or baseball players put on charcoal under their eyes? They're preparing for the cover of the bright Friday night lights. It really is that simple. So when we're talking anything more about cover, I would say that, remember, breathe through your nose. There are 2 different types of heat loss. There's conductive
That's
heat
my
loss.
streak of breath.
Exactly. There you go.
Wow.
Breathe through your nose. You're
Breath
getting
of
all
fire.
the oxygen you need.
It's like a
Conductive.
shot of espresso. I'm not kidding. When you breathe like that. It's
When
a
you breathe-
yoga
well,
thing.
there's-
It's a
it's a
yoga
popular
thing for
thing
the
JT,
for the
Brian
satanic
has his own
yoga
TV
people
shows,
out there.
basically.
Yeah.
Brian needs
It's a
his
big
own.
thing now.
Brian
Everyone wants to
probably
breathe
is-
through their nose.
At a basic level, it's cover.
Yes, sir.
And it's protection, shelter is it starts with
With
you.
your body, like clothing.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hat.
That's great.
Heat.
And
It
it's
starts at the
why-
epidermis. It starts
Yeah.
right at your epidermis, right?
That's why you put
Conductive
suntan
heat
lotion
loss.
on.
Epidermis
It's why
is
you
your
wear a hat.
skin
It's-
for
it's
those
why
who
you-
are coming in.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It's not glitzy.
That's really good,
But
right.
preparedness is that simple, right? You don't have to be muscle bound. You know, all these other things that people want a prepper to be. You just got to be ready. no matter what Mother Nature, or if it's
Linda,
man-made,
just gotta
no matter
love.
what they throw at you, are you going to be ready? Think about
love
conductive
that.
heat
I love
loss.
it.
You like, what was the movie? Dumb and Dumber, right? When he
That
goes
beats my
to
head.
lick the ski pole and his tongue gets stuck.
We've
That's
all done that.
Conductive heat loss. That's all I'm
remember doing
saying.
it.
You touch something that's cold, your
Johnny,
body
I will
goes.
agree with you. We agree
Right?
on something. Can't
I think
stand
I did it in second grade.
I am so.
It's like peeing on
you?
an electric
Yeah.
fence. Am
Yeah,
I allowed to say
literally
that? Am
lost
I allowed to
my
say?
lip
Yeah.
on
You're
the,
an
on the
lip?
flagpole.
You did your lips
on the
instead of
monkey
your
bar.
tongue?
I mean, it was
Conductive
all the
heat loss.
same general area.
Yeah.
Okay?
I triple dog dare you. We should do that.
We
No,
did
that's
that on
good.
I
video.
feel like that's a good short.
I'm
Yeah.
not doing it.
Now
I learned that
that's
lesson
You're
a
CEO
commercial.
does dumb stuff.
That's a
As
commercial.
a second grader.
I know I'm into marketing, but that's a commercial.
There you go.
See,
There you are. That's all you got to take from
CEO
the table.
loses his.
That's good. That's good.
gotta
So
take
so once you got kind of the basics covered around your personal cover
Yes, sir.
and shelter protection, what's the next layer look like?
Well, for me, it's always you have to identify your six. Find the chink in your armor. Find the weakest link in your chain, and then go. The wind's going to try to get you. Try to stay. If you're, let's say you're out in the middle of nowhere. It's summer is coming to an end here where I am, and it's soon going to be winter. You don't want to be sitting on the snow. You don't want conductive heat loss. You most certainly want to stay out of the wind, which is called. I know Becky knows this, but and I know, sir, you know this. Convective heat loss. People go, why do you get a cup of coffee in the morning and you blow on it? Why do you blow on your coffee? Because you're trying to blow away the top layer of heat. You're trying to make it cool enough for your fragile little lips, right? So you blow on your coffee. Well, it's the same thing. The wind tries to blow away your microclimate.
That's wonderful.
That's a
Same
great
simple,
analogy.
simple thing, right? So the wind's out there going, and if you're exposed to the wind, then you go, I don't know, I took
Brian,
a
that's
chill.
going to be our thumbnail.
Oh, yeah. I was told not to lift my shirt. But right, so now you're exposed to the cold. You're like, I took a chill.
It's a family-friendly program.
Yeah, exactly. You took a chill, did you? So guard against convective heat loss, and maybe it's a windproof, waterproof hat and jackets. You want to have insulated boots, or at least something that blocks you from sitting or standing or leaning on the snow. You ever run out to your car first thing in the morning to scrape off the ice, and you grab the door handle and right away you go, man, I can feel that. That's conductive heat loss.
There you go.
So look at the way nature is trying to bring you down.
This is what Matt just said. Preparedness and instinct should
Instinct.
come naturally, right?
That's why I call it the power of instinct.
It's
Yep.
common. It's really common sense. And a lot of the stuff you're talking about, I think most of us learned in kindergarten.
Did you see my Becky
Dad
backpack
says,
burrito?
When Dad says or Mom says, put a hat on when you go outside, and don't
sir.
go outside with a wet head.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's like it's just common sense now, right? I mean, it's
But it goes
basic.
all the way back to the beginning when you said you think we're starting to lose that common sense. So maybe what was common sense 20 years ago is not so much common sense now, because people go, well, wait a minute. Mother
just
Nature.
Google it.
Oh yeah, I'll just
But
Google
right.
it.
Oh,
Or
I just
there's
love
an
that.
app for
Yeah,
that.
there's an app for that. I love it. I say it all the time. What if there's a blackout?
Hold on, let me check my temperature.
Wow, this snowstorm's really cold. Let me see what to do.
Yeah,
My
yeah, let me see.
temperature.
Right. I wonder what the wind chill is. There.
So
I
let
like
me
this.
ask you this. All right. So we ran the scenario the other day. We were talking about winter preps and
sir.
the debate of whether to leave the car that is stranded on the side of the road in search for help or stay in the car.
Where
what's
are
your
you though?
thought
Am I
on
on a highway? Am I in a
You're in a car.
woods? I know, but where? Like on I-95 or like in the backwoods of like Sugar Grove,
anywhere.
West
I think
Virginia.
anywhere. I'll say anywhere.
Anywhere.
Okay.
Well, if I could, I'll lead with the last half a dozen Good Morning America, the early show, any of the television stations, the national television stations you've seen me on, where they put a car over the ditch and there's snow everywhere,
Michelle.
and they're trying to talk about, do you survive? I would call your attention back to just a year ago. I don't even think it's been a full year now. A year, within this year, a gentleman in New Jersey, there was an ice storm. His car was stuck on the highway. He knew his house was 3 miles, not even 3 miles, 2.9 miles off in that direction. They found him 2 days later, frozen. He never made it. So I will say again, what
How
I
far
said,
did he make it?
all
Two-
the television.
2.8?
That's just it. He couldn't find the street light in the blizzard, so he wasn't sure where he was going.
So mean.
But always, well, here's the thing. His death, hopefully, is an education for the people to learn this one fact. And I've said it all kinds of times. So thank you again for letting me say it here on this show. Always, always, always stay with your vehicle.
Thank you.
Why? Because
I
conductive and
wasn't
convective.
fighting you on this. I'm not getting out of the car.
You
I'm
said I'm going to go for a walk.
Yeah. No, never.
That's what I'm
never,
saying.
never,
like,
never.
Like
You
if I'm
stay in the
if I'm
car.
on a major highway, I'm not going to
Plus,
risk a semi truck
even if
coming
you're-
and knocking me over.
If you're out in the middle of the woods,
If I break down at your house and I need to meet, I'm going to drive. It
No,
depends.
no.
It depends.
no,
I would say-
I've had choices where we
No, I'm going to stay because most of the time they're going to search and rescue you.
we were going up to Vermont one time, and somehow I said, "Hey, there's a shortcut," and we started to go down the shortcut way, and I saw pretty quickly that this was not a shortcut. This was a forest.
Long cut.
No, this was a forest road, and it was winter and snowy.
It's
I said,
never
I'm not going there. All right, but even if I had gotten stuck on that forest road, I would stay in the car because those helicopters, they're going to see that stranded car way before they're going to see
Top of your head.
top of my head exactly out there
So-
laying
so-
flat in the dirt.
And the snow's covering you and all the rest of this. Now, we all have heard experiences
I
where
agree,
people
John.
back
I would
into
probably not go. Like Johnny said, not go. Like if I see the forecast, I'm not going. Like I'm just not going over Donner. You saw what happened to the Donner people long time ago. They didn't make it. So
know that
I'm going to
was
learn
coming.
from their shortcomings.
But the
I'm not
impromptu
going.
happens. The impromptu happens. It caught me off guard. Well, all things that
What are
happen
you laughing at?
catch you off guard.
The Donner
right?
people.
Donner people, yeah. Alfie Packer. It reminds me of Alfie Packer. As soon
Always
as you
carry
said the Donner
recipes.
place. Always carry recipes. That's right.
Always
and make
have
sure you
your
have some
NRE.
cheap tequila to barter. Is all I'm saying, right? Just make sure you have some of that.
You can live off of your. I never leave home without it, like water. I have some kind of bar. I can make it a
you can
day.
Yeah.
We're too
Now, can I say
populated
one
around
thing?
here.
Back
Yes,
there, I
please.
just want to forget because in case someone's tuning in. Remember, and it's just a couple years back, we lost a couple troopers in upstate New York who backed into a snowbank. So here's the deal. You slide off. You're in a blizzard. You know you're not going anywhere. Tires aren't working. First thing you want to do is get out of the vehicle and make certain that the tailpipe isn't packed full of snow, right? You want to make sure that all the exhaust from the engine can get away. Always, 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 because you and I are going, well, I hope they find us.
But you just
The
fall
exhaust
asleep,
will
and then
find
that's
you
the
fast.
end of it.
And that's the end of it, right? You'll know long before we do if there's an afterlife or not, right? So you want to check your tailpipe. Then you get back in the car. And for me, I like to run the heat about every 15 minutes. Let it go cold for 45 because you don't know how long you're going to be there. Oh, I got a full tank of gas, which is a commentary about in the wintertime, don't leave the house
be
with a
a
quarter
Donner.
tank of gas, right? Don't do that. But run your heat for every 15 minutes. And then out of the wind, I like to crack the back window to let some fresh air in, just right, because you want fresh air. You don't want to run the risk of something being in your tailpipe and the exhaust getting into the car. Then you get back in, you run your flashers, and you put your seatbelt on. So heaven forbid someone's not watching the flashers, or you're there for so long that the battery runs dead. You don't have any flashers now. Put your seatbelt on, stay secure, and they can see your vehicle, the reflection of your taillights or your headlights, wherever. They can see that long before they'll ever see you leaning up against a tree wishing
Okay.
you had stuck with your car.
I think that's brilliant advice. I don't understand what the heck you're talking about putting your seatbelt on.
No, so in case you get hit by somebody who's coming that doesn't see you because
That
your power
doesn't
has.
see you.
Is
yeah.
that it? Is that
yeah,
it?
we always
so-
put
so
after
like
you
you're
climb back in the
impact,
car.
you're gonna
Yeah.
get impact.
Sounds uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, there's that or get
For
thrown
me,
around when a snowplow
I agree
hits
with
you.
that because
Yeah.
I would feel like Linus
like a harness.
Blanket, like something
Yeah.
is just normal still, just a little bit normal.
yeah.
Someone's hugging me, and it's my seatbelt.
Or take it
Or the
off
arms of
under your
God.
arm and wear just the one piece, but you want to make certain that if you do
This
get
is
hit,
another.
you're
This
not
is a
thrown around.
service now meant to put flares in your bug out bag that goes in your car or any kind of like electric
Yes.
light.
I think it's probably one of the few remaining joys in my life is
Freeze dry Becky?
No, driving around my little area without a seatbelt on. I enjoy that.
You don't. Your Tesla doesn't ding. Ding, ding,
Ding.
put your
Even
seatbelt
if it
on.
does,
Ding,
then I'll
ding,
kinda,
put your seatbelt
I'll
on.
just-
Ding,
I'll
ding,
kinda
ding,
bow
ding,
my
ding,
back
ding, ding.
so my butt's not on the seat and they can't
Wait,
tell.
so you clip it?
Huh? No, I
So-
just bow. So like try to take some weight off the seat.
You're telling me your Tesla safety thing that talks to you and tells you where
My Tesla does not beep. I think, Elon,
just was annoyed by it.
God bless the guy.
He said the car's so safe we don't
said,
need seatbelts.
If you want to wear a seatbelt, wear a seatbelt. I'm not gonna ding. It might be a federal regulation that
I
you
feel
have to ding,
like
but
you got a ding.
I don't know. But
Well,
it's one
I was
of the
trained
few
all those
joys.
years ago in law enforcement, and
yeah,
I
that's
was
right.
never trained to wear a seatbelt. So the little kid,
Thank
all
you,
my
Nighthawk.
kids now are going, don't forget your seatbelt, Dad.
It's a
but
good
when you
thing.
have leathers on, and you have a gun, and you have a taser, and you have all these other things, I can't go to jump out of a car and be trapped in it by a seatbelt. Cue the email, send them to me. Bobby can figure out why my email probably doesn't work along with mortalup.com. Don't forget the H with the T's and the colons and the slashes and whatever.
Slashing
I
versus slashing.
can't wait to hear from you, especially the people that are critical.
Right
but
on.
I would say I was trained in law enforcement not to wear a seatbelt, and it's a hard. I have to. My kids have to guilt me into putting one on now, just because I fall back on
Well,
what I
you know,
was trained
mine
to
just
do.
keeps
But
dinging.
now it's a different motivation. Like if I'm traveling at a high speed, I'm going to wear a seatbelt because look, I want to be around for my family. If something, heaven forbid, does happen, some knucklehead.
Then why are you not wearing
Cross-
it? Most accidents happen between a mile from your house. You are like 2 miles from
No,
your
no,
door
no.
to
I
door.
will
from here.
I will drive around like in a parking lot.
Right.
And I will drive around in my little circle area.
Why are you driving around in a parking lot?
in circles.
Circles.
Just
Right?
so that I don't wear. Okay. Anyway, this is good. This is good. All right. Sorry for that.
Okay.
No,
So-
not at all. Not at all.
That was-
Trying to
that's
find a
awesome
parking
advice.
space, but all
This
the
is
people that could
fascinating.
have run a marathon had to take the closest parking space to the opening of the store because heaven forbid they had to walk from 7 lanes down. That's why he's driving around in circles, because all the yucks are busy stealing up all the
I'm
close-in
looking-
parking.
No, I'm looking for an empty, pregnant women only. spot.
A vet spot, right? So you're like, oh, there's a parking job for veterans. Oh, could I have an expected veterans parking spot, please? So like I'm double covered.
He's a veteran. He's
Yeah,
he's
I'm
got
just
all that. He's a pregnant veteran that's like
Identifies as a cat.
that it's his
Let's hope
birthday
it's a
and he's a
mountain
super
lion.
shopper, so
Right,
he gets
let's-
shopper points to get front row VIP.
That's great.
So
Well,
This
it's
is
all-
good.
Preparedness.
Brian,
Preparedness.
It's been great having you.
Thank you, sir.
Brian, can we bring you back on?
I would love to help you spread the message in any way that I could, because I think it's just
I think
great.
we can learn a
It's
lot
just great.
more from you, like
Totally.
me personally.
Totally. Yeah, we'll do it.
We can make our way up the Maslow's hierarchy of laws. We can move on to the next one.
That's a great idea.
Start with the basics and we'll move up, and then we'll get to mindset. We can really chop into mindsets.
The
Well,
less-
remember, if you panic, you perish, right? I hate that it's a cliche because I don't like to use them, but if you panic, you perish. So every day, figure
Isn't
out,
his like you're like
what do I got
tags
to
are
do?
So good, right?
What do I got to do to keep from panicking? That's all preparedness is. I don't want to panic in a situation. I want my family to be able to count on me. I want my friends, my coworkers to be able to count on me. So what do I have to do today to make sure in a situation I won't panic tomorrow? That's preparedness. That's all. Do you make ice cubes in your ice cube tray before you fall in bed tonight so you can have a cold juice? That's being a prepper. Oh,
Right on.
oh, he's so nuts. I'm crazy. I'm going to go fill the ice cube trays. I'm insane.
Brian, we are definitely going to bring you back, and we're definitely going to do
Thank
something
you
with
so
you.
much.
Maybe
All right.
we can bring
Sir,
you back on the
thank you.
16 days
God
of
bless
giveaways,
you.
the 15,
Thank you,
12
sir.
days giveaway.
Thanks.
All
We'll
right.
be in touch.
All right. Brian
Thanks.
Brawdy,
Farewell, guys.
mortalup.com.
Bobby, thanks.
Brian Brawdy, mortalup.com.
Where
Great
can-
guy.
Oh,
Awesome.
I accidentally hit the button. Sorry, Brian.
That was
bring it
cool.
back.
That was
We
nice.
can find him at
Oh, wait.
mortalup.com. What do you got? Do you have
He's
Oh,
not
no.
entirely gone.
Okay, so he said, I'm not totally gone. She just wanted to see the yoga pants. I get how you guys are.
Wait,
That's
let's see
it.
the
Here's the yoga
flip-flops.
pants. The flip-flops. Yeah, yoga pants. Flip-flop, chicka, wow, wow. All right, good night, guys. Good luck in the parking lot.
Bye.
All right.
Good night
Josh,
now.
thank
Thank you
you.
for
See you,
having
man.
me.
Okay,
Mortal
we'll be
Up.
back.
Check him out on Instagram as well.
No Dread
There it is.
Survival.
NS.
I was going to wear a Superman shirt, but I thought that was too self-serving.
The
No,
Irish
there you go.
goodbye.
We
You
have
send
the
it to
same-
me. She should be wearing one, damn it. There you go. No Dread Survival. Good night,
Sip it up.
everybody.
Bad word.
Bye. Good night. Thank you.
What a guy.
So yeah, we
Wow.
definitely have to bring Brian back
Oh
with
my
with a
gosh.
plan. But
I think I need a shot of brandy from the St. Bernard. I mean, I can tell he's trumped my energy today. Like, I mean,
He's probably had a few. Because,
I was too
man,
busy,
I tell
like-
ya. Yeah, he was moving. He's a
no,
smart
he's
guy.
always
Great
like
guy.
that.
He is.
He's like that at 8 a.m.
just
He's like
awesome.
that at 8 p.m. But we did talk about this. We both have the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
We are, upon waking, 0 to 100. And as soon as we hit the bed, we're 100-0, like asleep and like that. There's no settle down, read a book.
Great,
It's like out. And we have that in common. On and off. Done.
Well, he's a great guy. I mean, great words of wisdom.
Yeah, there's a lot to digest. I'm going to have to go back and watch that because I like some of his taglines of just like, I love alliteration and mantras and things like that, you know.
Yep.
And he must have dropped 20 slogans that we might be able to recycle in that. I got to watch that back. So